the other thing that I thought was pretty incredible is the fact that he says that we're going to open some manufacturing in America again. Now, you had the economist yesterday, Brian Wesbury. You had him on yesterday, and he said, and I agree with him, it's going to take many years to really see a difference in manufacturing. I mean, because you can't just open up a factory like today and next week have cars, right?
No, I mean, we have, unfortunately, there have been entire towns and communities hollowed out going back to the 1970s. I mean, you and I have been through, let's just look at the physical appearance of Detroit. It's a pale shadow of what it used to be. The homes are dilapidated. Many of them haven't gone up in value since like 1977. Obviously, the complexion, and by complexion here, I mean the workforce, is different than it was then. The jobs have gone away.
And why do you think a city like Detroit, well, besides it being run by Democrats, I guess that answers it.
Well, that's a big part of it. Part of it was that the car companies,
but I'm just saying, why can't, okay, so cars are no longer there, but why can't they bring something else in?
Because of the political structure. They are very anti-entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And so they have confiscatory taxes, they have elaborate regulations. I mean, think about it. If you want to start a business, would you dream of doing it in Detroit? No. It's not even very safe.
Yeah.
So all the factors, high insurance costs,
high crime,
high taxes, high regulation. When you want permits, the city is going to block you every which way. It's a mess across the board. So these democratic cities have become just rotted. And I think that emphasizes your point. It's not simply a matter of providing of putting the tariff on, because even if you put a tariff on, companies are going to say, I'm going to come to America, but guess what? Why would I go to Detroit? I'm going to go to North Carolina. I'm going to go to some southern state where the governor is going to have a reception, welcome me with open arms, give me special, incentives to come to his state because it's going to create jobs and look good for him. So I think all of this, by the way, is a good thing, because guess what? It shows you that these states are now going to have to compete for business. SoftBank is going to choose where it wants to go. And even in America, as you notice, big tech companies are leaving San Francisco. They're moving to Austin. They're moving to Texas. Some of them are moving to Nashville because they're getting a more receptive economic and political environment.
Yeah. Well, I think it just can't happen fast enough. I want it to happen quickly. I want it to happen before the midterms. I want to see, and really, I was really waiting for him to say, I also, like Brian Wesbury, feel like we need to bring down taxes before we do the other, because people need to notice the difference in their pocketbook immediately.
Yeah, this is something that you and I, we heard Kudlow say this. This is Larry Kudlow, who, by the way, very much, Kudlow and Brian Wesbury are very much on the same wavelength. And Kudlow was making a political point. He's like, look, in the first Trump term, Trump did the tax cut first, and then he pushed tariffs second. In the second term, he's pushing tariffs. Now, he does have making permanent the tax cuts on his agenda, but that's going to have to go through Congress. And so it looks like the tariffs are going to go ahead of the tax cuts. And so what that means is that now tariffs don't, if you put a tariff of 10%, it doesn't mean prices automatically go up 10%, but they do go up because companies are going to pass along at least some of that cost. So the consumer is going to feel it without any other immediate relief. I think this is why Trump in the speech even said something like, it's going to be a little painful. There's going to be a little bumpy along the way.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that it is the mark of a statesman to be able to level with people. And if you say to people, look, our economy is in trouble, I'm going to do some things and it's going to cause you some short-term pain, but if you hang with me, it's better to tell them that than not to say that, and then they feel the pain, and then they go, wait, you didn't tell us.
It's almost like when you're getting a shot.
Exactly.
And they go, it's going to sting a little bit.
Right.
Right? It automatically tells you, okay, they're telling me it's going to sting, so it's going to sting.
Right.
And then it's not as bad.
This
Versus, oh no, it's not going to hurt.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I rather kind of know ahead of time. Be honest.
I mean, the classic model here is Winston Churchill, which is, I do not have anything to offer you but blood, sweat, and tears.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
So Churchill is basically saying this is the reality of our situation, and this is the only way out. I mean, that is a true statesman. Now, obviously, the situation was different for Britain in World War II, but we're talking about the principle of it. Being able to tell the citizens not everything is rosy, and we're going to have to go through some dark patches before we come out into the sunlight. Reagan, by the way, the same thing.
Yeah.
We had a recession of 1982. Reagan actually took a beating in the midterms. And that's something I hope we don't have here, because Trump doesn't have much of a margin.
No.
We don't want to lose the House.